You ever get that feeling where your stomach just drops, like a roller coaster without the thrill? That's what happened when I opened the wedding invitation and saw her name. Right there in gold-foiled, embossed cursive. You were cordially invited to the union of Nathaniel Evans and Celeste Moore. Celeste. My ex-girlfriend of 4 years. The woman I was going to propose to. The same woman who ghosted me without a word 2 weeks before our trip to Greece, where I was planning to get on one knee. The room spun. I had to reread the card 4 times. It wasn't some cruel prank. It was real. My younger brother, my best man, my blood, was marrying the woman who broke me. Let me rewind a bit. My name's Tyler, 31 years old. I've always been the responsible son, the one who helped raise my kid brother after our dad passed. Nate was 6 when I was 14, and ever since, I've been his unofficial third parent. I helped him with school, taught him how to tie a tie, stayed up with him after breakups, covered for him when he flunked his driver's test and didn't want mom to know. He was my guy. My little bro. Always. When he started dating again after college, I was thrilled for him. He kept his new girl under wraps for a while, said she was complicated. I didn't push. People have their reasons. I never imagined it would be her. Celeste and I had history. We met when I was 24. She was smart, gorgeous, and had that kind of wit that cut like a knife but made you laugh while it bled. We were good. Solid, even. At least, I thought we were. Then one morning, she was just gone. No note. No text. Her keys on the counter and every trace of her erased from our apartment. And now? Now she was the future Mrs. Nathaniel Evans? I stared at the card, and for a solid minute, I didn't move. Just sat on the edge of my bed in dead silence. The air felt heavy. Like grief. That night, I didn't sleep. Memories kept flooding in. Her laugh when I burned the garlic bread. The time we danced in the rain like absolute idiots. Her laying on my chest while we binge-watched Game of Thrones. Her head turning toward me, half asleep, whispering, "Don't ever leave me." That same woman was about to become my brother's wife. It wasn't even the betrayal that hit hardest. It was the fact that Nate knew what she did to me. He knew. I had told him everything, broken and sobbing on our mom's porch 2 years ago. And now he was marrying her? Why? Why would he do that? I needed answers. The next morning, I called him. No small talk. Are you serious, Nate? Good morning? You invited me to your wedding. Yeah, I did. You invited me to your wedding. To Celeste? There was a pause. A sharp, gut-punching pause. Then he sighed. I was hoping you'd be cool about it. Cool? You're marrying my ex. The woman who disappeared on me. Nate. The woman who shattered me. And you didn't think that was worth, I don't know, a heads up. She's not the same person now. She told me what happened between you two. I didn't want to hurt you. Then don't marry her. Problem solved. He was quiet for a beat. Then, I love her, Ty. I'm sorry. I didn't plan for this to happen. I laughed. One of those bitter, disbelieving chokes of sound. I can't believe you. You don't have to come, man, he said. And I swear I could hear his guilt chewing through the line. But I want you there. You're my brother. I hung up. I didn't talk to him for a month. He texted once or twice, some variation of "I get it, and still love you, bro," but I didn't reply. Instead, I spiraled. I kept seeing them in my mind. Holding hands. Her wearing white. Him smiling like he didn't just drive a knife through my back. I told myself I wouldn't go. I told myself 100 times. And yet, there's this pull that family has. This idea that no matter what, you show up. You be the bigger person. You smile and fake it and bury your own pain so that the people you love can be happy, even if that happiness is stolen. So, when the RSVP deadline hit, I checked, yes. God help me, I checked, yes. The wedding was set for late spring in some rustic-ass vineyard upstate. They were going all out. Outdoor ceremony, string quartet, lantern-lit reception. The whole Pinterest core aesthetic. I even had a custom suit tailored, mostly because I wanted to look better than my brother standing next to her. Petty? Absolutely. But I was drowning in rage, and pettiness was the only thing keeping me from falling apart. I showed up to the rehearsal dinner a little late. Everyone looked surprised to see me. Celeste? She froze. I could see her hand twitching around the wine glass, her smile cracking like cheap foundation. Tyler, she said softly. Celeste, I nodded, like we were meeting for the first time instead of the 100th. Nate came over, hugging me like nothing was wrong. I'm glad you came. I'm not. And I walked past them. Let the games begin. They say time heals all wounds. Whoever said that never sat across from their ex at a white linen rehearsal dinner while she giggled at your brother's jokes and wore the necklace you gave her for your first anniversary. Yeah, that necklace. The gold locket with her mom's birthstone she cried over when I gave it to her. It was still around her neck. Still warm from her skin. Still mine. The whole evening was a masterclass in emotional warfare. I was seated at a table with Nate's college friends, most of whom I barely knew and one of whom was clearly angling to be best man despite me literally existing. "So, how do you know the groom?" he asked me, smiling like he didn't just try to one-up my toast with a 10-minute slideshow of frat memories. I raised him. I replied, deadpan. "Wait, what?" "I'm his older brother. Raised him after Dad died. Helped him graduate high school. Bought him his first car. So, yeah, I'm that guy." He shut up after that. Celeste avoided me all night. Smart. Every time she looked over, she found me already watching. I wasn't being subtle. I didn't want to be. I wanted her to feel what I was feeling. That acid slow burn of betrayal. That gut ache that comes from watching someone pretend like they never knew your soul. Nate? He was everywhere. Toast after toast. Hug after hug. Mr. Perfect Groom, beaming like his entire life wasn't built on top of a landmine named me. And still, somehow, he thought I was okay. Like I was just going to sit there, smile for the photos, and clap when they kissed. As if I didn't see it coming. As if I didn't have a plan. After dinner, I stepped outside for some air. The vineyard was quiet. Dark rows of grapevines stretched into the horizon, silver under moonlight. The stars were out. Clear. Honest. Unlike everything else that night. "Tyler." I knew that voice. I didn't turn. Celeste walked up behind me, that soft rustle of her silk dress still burned into my memory. "I didn't think you'd come," she said. I lit a cigarette. I don't smoke. Not usually. But I needed something between my teeth besides the truth. Neither did I. She stood next to me, a little too close. Her perfume hadn't changed. Still that warm vanilla amber scent that used to drive me mad. It made my chest hurt. "I didn't plan for this to happen," she whispered. I laughed. Bitter. "Which part? Dating my brother or marrying him?" She flinched. "I didn't know he was your brother at first. I swear. We met through work, and it just happened." "It just happened," I repeated, like the words were in a language I barely understood. "I thought about telling you. So many times. But I figured it would just make things worse." "It did. Thanks for that." She looked away, eyes glassy. "He makes me happy, Tyler." I inhaled. Smoke and fire in my lungs. "You made me happy, too. Right up until you didn't." We stood there in silence. Wind rustled through the vines. The stars kept watching. She reached out, gently brushing my arm. Like that was supposed to fix something. "I never wanted to hurt you." "But you did." "I know. And that was it. No more excuses. No more apologies." She walked away, and I let her. Because tomorrow wasn't about apologies. It was about consequences. Back at my hotel, I couldn't sleep. I just stared at the ceiling fan spinning in slow, lazy circles. Thinking. Planning. Replaying her words in my head until they blurred. I thought about every time I answered Nate's late-night calls. Every time I bailed him out of trouble. Every birthday, every scraped knee, every pep talk before finals. He was my brother. And now he was marrying the woman who gutted me from the inside out. I kept asking myself why. Why he'd do it. Why she said yes. Why nobody warned me. Then, somewhere between 2 and 3 a.m., it hit me. A detail. Small. Slippery. But once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. Her necklace. The locket. I never told her what was inside. She cried when I gave it to her, sure. But she never opened it in front of me. Inside, I placed a photo. Black and white. A printout of the first photo we ever took together in the park. It was folded neatly, tiny enough to fit inside. If she had ever opened it, she would have told me. But she didn't. She wore it. Loved it. But never saw what was inside. And now, 2 years later, she was wearing it like a trophy, still not knowing what she was carrying. I picked up my phone. Opened notes. Started typing. Wedding day speech. And I didn't stop until dawn. The ceremony was set for 4 p.m. By noon, I was dressed and pacing outside the chapel. I looked good. Too good. The kind of good that screams you should have stayed with me. Guests were arriving in waves. Laughing, hugging, clinking glasses under the white arch trellis. Celeste's side was mostly corporate-looking people, clean, cold, curated. Nate's side was family, friends, the bar buddies, and me. Black sheep in a steel blue suit. I was the best man. Still, he never took it back. So when the planner called me over to prep for the ceremony, I smiled. I had a speech to give, a story to tell, and a wedding to ruin. Part 3 is ready when you are. It's the ceremony, the twist, the start of an emotional detonation. Let me know when to unleash it. The air was too still, like the world was holding its breath. It was 3:57 p.m. The guests were seated. The violins played something slow and classical. Rows of white chairs, flowers blooming across every surface. The kind of romantic overkill you only see in bridal magazines and rich people's Pinterest boards. I stood next to Nate at the altar. He looked sharp, black tux, fresh cut, eyes bright with something I could no longer call joy. I didn't know what I saw in him anymore. My brother? My betrayer? A lovesick fool? Maybe all three. He leaned toward me, whispered, "Thanks again for showing up, Ty." Really? I didn't answer. Not with words. I just patted his shoulder and smiled. It was the kind of smile you give someone right before the guillotine drops. Then, the music shifted. Here she came. Celeste. Floating down the aisle in ivory silk, veil pulled back so everyone could admire that face, the one that haunted me in dreams and made me flinch in grocery store aisles. She looked ethereal, regal, confident. She saw me, paused, only for half a second. But I saw the flicker, the hesitation, the weight behind her eyes. I didn't blink. She reached the altar, took Nate's hand. They stood there side by side, two people who swore they were meant to be, smiling into the crowd of clapping strangers. I kept looking at the locket. It sat perfectly above her heart. She still didn't know. Not yet. The officiant began his speech. It was a blur of love and destiny and commitment. All the usual stuff. Nate and Celeste exchanged vows, hers rehearsed, his tearful, and then the moment arrived. Before we moved to the final part of the ceremony, the officiant said, "The groom's brother and best man would like to say a few words." I stepped forward, gripping the mic like a lifeline. I looked out at the crowd. A sea of polite, curious smiles. The bride's family. Our family. Friends. Co-workers. My mother beamed at me. Celeste's hand tightened around Nate's. I could see her nails dig into his palm. She knew. She knew. I took a breath and started. "Hi. I'm Tyler, Nate's older brother. I've known him his whole life, literally. I've changed his diapers. I've taught him how to ride a bike. I've seen him bomb math tests and cry over his first breakup. So standing here today should be the proudest moment of my life. But it's not." A murmur rippled through the seats. Celeste shifted uncomfortably. Nate looked confused. Eyebrows raised. I continued. "See, weddings are about honesty. About sharing your full self with someone. No secrets. No skeletons in the closet. But this marriage? It's built on a secret. One that started years ago." Gasps. Celeste was frozen, her knuckles white around her bouquet. Nate stepped toward me. "Tyler, what are you doing?" I ignored him. You all probably know Celeste as this radiant bride. But to me, she was something else. She was my girlfriend. For 4 years. Dead silence. Not a breath. Not a shuffle. Just a collective, "What the hell?" My mom's hand flew to her mouth. Nate looked like he'd been slapped. She vanished one morning. No note. No goodbye. Just a ghost where a future used to be. And then, months later, she showed up again. On my brother's arm. Celeste finally spoke. "Tyler, stop. Don't do this." But I was just getting started. I don't care that she left me. I don't even care that she chose him. What I care about is that neither of them told me the truth. Not until I got this wedding invite in the mail. I reached into my jacket pocket, pulled out a small box, opened it. Inside was the original necklace box. Velvet. Still pristine. "Celeste," I said, eyes locked on hers, "do you remember this?" She didn't answer. "You wore that locket every day back then. You're still wearing it now. But you never opened it. Not once. So let me show you what was inside." I pulled out the folded photo, held it up. A grainy print of us, laughing in a park, my arm around her shoulders, her face buried in my neck. This was our first photo. The first time you told me you loved me. And now it's here, sitting above your heart as you pledge yourself to my brother. Someone in the crowd audibly gasped. Celeste looked like she was about to faint. Nate was pale, like corpse pale. He whispered, "Is this true?" She didn't answer. He turned to me. "Is it?" I nodded once. Chaos. Utter chaos. The officiant tried to speak, then just backed away. People were murmuring, some standing, others just watching in fascinated horror. Nate looked at Celeste like he didn't know her. Because maybe now. He didn't. I stepped back. Let the silence do its job. Let the truth sit in their perfect, curated wedding and rot it from the inside out. And then, I dropped the mic. Literally. And walked out. The second the mic hit the floor, the spell shattered. There was a split second of stunned silence, like the whole world forgot how to breathe. Then it detonated. Voices exploded from every direction. Celeste's mother screamed, "What the hell is this?" Nate's best friend stood up and yelled, "Bro, is this real?" Some people were already standing, grabbing purses, mumbling awkward apologies as they backed toward the parking lot like witnesses to a crime scene. But I didn't stay to watch the rest. I turned and walked straight down the aisle like I was the one getting married to the truth. Outside, the air hit different. Sharp. Cold. Free. I could still hear the noise behind me shouting, crying, chairs scraping across the patio as everything fell apart. It was the sound of a perfect day burning to the ground. Good. Let it burn. I made it to the gravel path by the vineyard gate when I heard the footsteps. Fast. Angry. Tyler. I turned. It was Nate. His tie was undone, jacket off, eyes wild and glassy. "You think that was cool? Just hijack my wedding like that? What the hell, man?" I held my ground. "You lied to me." "I didn't lie. I just didn't tell you." "Same difference. You knew who she was. You knew what she did. And you let me find out from a fucking invitation." He shook his head, pacing. His voice cracked. "I didn't plan for this. It just happened. She was different when I met her. She told me about your breakup, and yeah, it sounded bad. But I figured maybe you were being dramatic. That maybe you were bitter." "Bitter," I repeated, laughing once, dark and hollow. "She left me without a word. Took everything. She vanished, Nate. I thought she was dead for 2 days." He blinked. He didn't know that part. Of course he didn't. "I was in love with her," I continued, stepping closer. "I was gonna propose, Nate. I had the ring. Booked the flights. I was gonna ask her in Santorini. You know that place on the cliff with the blue domes? She told me it was her dream. I made it real." He swallowed hard, jaw twitching. "And now here I am," I said, "watching her wear the necklace I gave her to marry you." He looked like a kicked dog. Shaking, pale. "I didn't know about the locket," he mumbled. "No," I said. "You didn't." Silence settled between us like fog. Then he asked, voice barely there, "Did you do it to hurt me?" I thought about that for a long moment. "No," I said. "I did it to free myself." He blinked. "Free yourself?" I've been carrying this weight, this silence, for years. Everyone wanted me to move on, forgive, forget. But I lived in that wound. And no one saw it, except me. He opened his mouth, then shut it. "But yeah," I added, "hurting you was a nice bonus." He took a step back, like I'd slapped him. I expected him to punch me, maybe swing. Instead, he did something worse. He cried. His face crumpled, and he sat down hard on a vineyard bench, hands shaking. "I loved her," he whispered. I sat beside him, quiet for a moment. "I know," I said. "I did too." We sat there for a while. Two brothers in suits, surrounded by grapevines and broken dreams. Finally, he asked the question I'd been dreading. "Do you still love her?" I thought about that. I really did. Every version of her I ever knew, laughing in the kitchen, curled up on the couch, saying she loved me with that little wrinkle in her nose. And then, the version that ghosted me. The one that showed up on his arm. The one who wore my locket without knowing what she carried. "No," I said. "Not anymore." He nodded. That hurt him more than if I'd said yes. We both knew it was over. Not just the wedding. Something else, too. Something between us. Trust, maybe. Brotherhood. The part of me that used to jump in front of a train for him. That used to see him as my shadow, my kid, my friend. It didn't die, but it limped. It was never going to be the same. Eventually, he stood up. "I should go back in," he said. "Are you still marrying her?" He didn't answer. He just walked away. I stayed out there a little longer. Watched the wind rustle through the grapevines. Listened to the distant sobs and slammed doors from the venue. Lit another cigarette I didn't want. I wasn't proud of what I did, but I wasn't sorry either. Sometimes the truth doesn't come gift-wrapped. Sometimes it arrives like a wrecking ball, and I was the one swinging it. Back in the car, I looked at my reflection in the mirror. Eyes tired, collar wrinkled, but something felt lighter. Like for the first time in years, I wasn't wearing her anymore. The drive home was dead quiet. No music, no podcasts, just the hum of the tires and the occasional wheeze of my half-dead AC unit. I didn't want distraction. I wanted to feel everything. Let it hit me in waves. Grief, relief, rage, freedom. I didn't even take the highway. I took the long way, past the lake where Celeste and I had our first real date. Past the diner Nate and I used to sneak off to his kids. Every turn was a memory. A scar I hadn't picked at in years. Now it all felt different. Lighter. Like someone had peeled off the film that had been over my life since the day she vanished. When I got home, my phone was already blowing up. Missed calls. Voicemails. Texts. Some from mutual friends, some from cousins, and one long, truly unhinged message from Celeste's maid of honor who accused me of weaponizing emotional trauma to sabotage a sacred ceremony. Yeah, that's exactly what I did, Madison. 10 points for Gryffindor. I didn't respond to any of it. Except for my mom. Her message was simple. Call me. We need to talk. So I did. I sat on my porch, feet up, beer in hand, and called her like I was a teenager again. She answered immediately. No hello. What the hell was that? I sighed. The truth. You couldn't have done it in private? She was about to be your daughter-in-law. And no one thought I deserved a heads-up. Silence. I didn't know she was that Celeste, she said finally. I didn't even know there were other Celestes. She let out a breath. Long frustrated. But not angry. Well, your brother's not speaking to anyone. He called off the reception. They didn't even cut the cake. A small part of me cheered. Petty? Sure. But after 4 years of pain, I'd earned a sliver of petty. Are they still getting married? I asked. More silence. Not today, she said. He left, packed a bag and drove off. Nate didn't go home. He didn't text. He just disappeared for 3 days. I honestly didn't know if I'd ever hear from him again. And that scared me. Because as much as he hurt me, he was still my brother. Still the kid I taught to ride a bike. Still the guy who once punched another kid in middle school for calling me tie fat. It's easy to set something on fire. Harder to watch it burn when you're holding the match. On the 4th day, he texted. Meet me at the lake. Just that. No emojis. No death threats. Just coordinates and memories. I went. He was already sitting on the edge of the dock when I got there. Shoes off, jeans rolled, legs dangling into the water like we were 15 again. I sat beside him. We didn't speak at first. The sun was setting, washing the lake in gold and blood. I'm not mad, he said finally. I turned to him. Surprised. You're not. No, he said. You were right. You didn't owe me silence. I owed you honesty. That cracked something in me. I didn't know I'd been holding my breath. I didn't want to believe it, he continued. Even when you told the story, part of me thought maybe it wasn't as bad as you made it sound. But when I saw the photo in that locket, his voice broke. I saw the way she looked at you. In that picture. I've never seen her look at me like that. We sat there for a long time. Quiet. Listening to the wind through the trees and the soft lapping of water against the wood. I should have told you, he said. From the beginning. Yeah, I said. You should have. He looked at me. Do you hate me? I met his eyes. No. Will we be okay? A pause. I don't know. Honesty again. Brutal and pure. We didn't hug. Didn't cry. We just sat there. 2 broken men trying to tape together the pieces of a lifetime. As for Celeste, she tried reaching out once. Sent a long email full of apologies, half explanations, and the most backhanded line I've ever read. I never meant to fall for your brother, but he saw something in me that you didn't. I didn't respond. I deleted the email, blocked her everywhere, burned every photo I still had of us, except the one from the locket. That one, I kept. Framed it, not because I miss her, but because I want to remember what I survived, what I carried, what I finally let go. A month later, Nate moved out of our hometown, got a new job, started over. We talk now and then. Small stuff. Surface level. But healing's a slow thing. You don't get to nuke a wedding and walk away clean. We're not there yet. Maybe never will be. But we're walking. And for the first time in years, I'm not looking over my shoulder at a ghost. I'm moving forward. No secrets. No silence. No regrets.